Good morning, everybody. What's a beautiful day today. I'm here at the table with my three daughters, and we're going to talk about Dad, We're Incarcerated Too. Man, what a great day to be involved and sitting with three lovely young ladies.
Thank you.
We're excited today. This is our first podcast dealing with the issues of my children's feelings around my tenure of incarceration. Dad, we're incarcerated too. So before we get into it, I just want to go around the table and let my daughters introduce themselves.
Good morning. I am Aaliyah.
Good morning. I am Raquel.
Hi, I'm Jamila.
Right. Now, who's the oldest?
I am.
Okay, and who's the baby?
I am.
You gotta look all and sound
And
like
of course,
that.
I'm in the middle.
But she's sitting at the head, so y'all know what that means.
Exactly.
Dad, we're incarcerated too. This is my daughters and I opportunity to come as a father and daughter team to kind of talk about, some of the issues that my children had, again, during the time period of my incarceration. My last bit was 8 years, but during that time period, my daughters would come to see me frequently, I think like every month or so. But the last time they came to see me, I believe it was back in 2008. My oldest daughter, Raquel, as I was talking, she began to tell me that, Dad, we're incarcerated too. As a matter of fact, she said it emphatically, like, Dad, we're incarcerated too, with a little bit of attitude. And I really wasn't feeling that, you know what I mean? But she began to explain to me what their incarceration looked like. And so what we decided to do was to come together to talk about their feelings, the issues that they had during my time period of incarceration. And we did 3 videos, but right now we're on to bigger and better things, I guess, And I'm going to give them the opportunity to kind of talk about it. And so, but before I do that, I just want you to understand that incarceration is never physical. It's never about the institution. Incarceration is always mental first. And I was incarcerated long before I got to the institution. And we'll talk about that at a later time. But I want to give my children the opportunity to kind of talk about what they went through, what they felt, what they dealt with. And again, I'm only hearing these stories, that they're talking about for maybe the 4th time, because when I first got out, these are the issues that we never talked about. We had a great relationship. Man, I love my girls. They are my inspiration. But they never shared with me their feelings about the things that they had to endure, what they had to suffer through. And so Dad, We're Incarcerated Too is an opportunity to be able to give other children, whether you're young or an adult, an opportunity to voice how you feel about your parents' incarceration or significant other incarceration, and talk about that and try to mend relationships and those things that are broken inside of you so that we can heal holistically. So I'm going to turn it over to my daughters and let's just have a dialogue about that.
Okay. So I would like to discuss initially about the moment that he's talking about when he was in jail. I think I had to be about maybe 15 or 16, one of those. And there were a lot of things that was missing in our lives, different things, I don't know how much they do it now, but like daddy and daughter dances or different programs you had at school for your father to attend, even feeling like you have a safe place to just be a girl. I found out at an early age that it was me that was going to have to protect me. And so for a long time, I lived my life incarcerated.
Wow.
It took me a while to even understand that I needed to free myself from the mental space that I had put on me in order to protect me,
Wow.
And so to me, that moment, I know it changed your life, but I think it changed my life as well, because that was the last time that I decided to come and see you.
Yeah.
And, for a long time, I didn't even think that, I knew that I was bothered, But I guess I had kind of put it to the back. So it's like now as I got older and I started experiencing things, then I'm like, oh, I got some issues. So it's good. It's like now that we talking about it, you know, our biggest thing is opening the door so that other people can begin to mend their relationships as well. I think you had stated that earlier as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean it was interesting because you know, just the way that you said it, you know, just like it just threw me all off. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because we so focused, you know, as individuals that are, you know, incarcerated, we so focused on our own stuff, and we never realized the impact, you know, that, you know, our incarceration has made on our children and on our family holistically. You know what I mean? And when you said that, it just makes sense that and bring it to a whole different light that incarceration is never just one individual, but it plays in, you know, to the whole family dynamic, right?
Yeah. I guess you don't think about that though when it's happening. You
Right.
know, like you said, everybody's like in their own world, and things are going on, and even you know with us, I know we talked about things concerning you, but we didn't really talk about it growing up. Like did we? No,
I don't think we really understood how to put it into words or what we was actually feeling either.
Yeah.
I mean, we had moments where like we'd listen to songs and sit there and cry,
We would intentionally listen to songs to cry.
knowing that we was gonna cry.
Yeah, what was that song?
Daddy's little
some
girls
song.
or
Yeah,
something.
some song like that. And we used to be in the car with my mom singing that song, sobbing.
But the song was about how the child felt unwanted and unloved by her father. And it was, I think, 3 different scenarios in the music video of how the absence of a father was affecting the child.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was pretty sad.
The video was really sad. I haven't listened to that in years, though. It's been a long time.
But it caused, I think that for me, it caused me to experience things in, I guess I would say a negative way initially. Because I couldn't even, first of all, I didn't know what it looked like to be loved by a man, even though I knew that you loved me, of course, you know. But it was like, I didn't know what it looked like, and I didn't even know how to receive it either. So even if somebody was, you know, treating me right or loving me right or whatever you want to say, however you want to call it, I couldn't even receive it because I couldn't see it. And it was like always this like missing piece on the inside that it took a very long time to figure out. I can't even remember how I decided and figured out that, okay, I got some daddy issues.
Right.
I'm like, why I'm looking to this man for this and this and this and constantly looking for him to fill this void that just, it never let up.
Wow.
And so eventually I guess I just figured out like, okay, you're gonna have to feel it. Like,
No, you know, I mean, I feel that though, you know, just on what you talking about, that you talk about you had daddy issues. And one of the things that we don't discuss as men is that we've had daddy issues too.
And mommy issues. Because I think for a lot of men it be mommy issues too.
Well, I mean, it could be that part, but you know, but as it relates to the father, I was incarcerated at 4 years old. Like, you know, my mother was an abusive mom. I mean, she was abused, right? You know, and we were abused children. At least my older sister and I was. And my father busted my head open when I was like 2 years old. And the first scar on my head, you know what I'm talking about? And so he, you know, he wrecked me. But my mother said I was a daddy's boy. I loved my father. My mother left my father when, you know, I was 4 years old. And she said that I said, at 4 years old, right, nobody loves me, so I don't love nobody. And so for over 40-something years, that's how I lived, Raquel. Like,
That's a long time.
yeah, and I couldn't feel love. I couldn't accept love. I didn't want, because love to me, it was like,
It come with pain.
yeah, it come with pain.
That was a good one.
Right, it do come love, cause I ain't giving my heart to nobody. If this is what love look like. I ain't trying to love nobody. I ain't trying to feel. So I want to pimp, play, and baby lay. I want to be like the players do. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't trying to love nobody and get my feelings all caught up into that. Because I associated love with abuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it wasn't violent, I couldn't be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy that you talking about it like that, because yeah, man, I love my father, man.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was a hard grind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. And that's funny. That just reminded me of something, for a long time. I think sometimes I even still do this, but it's like constantly needing more pain in order, like gaining strength from pain. Like, I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to go through your phone first just to make sure I'm hurt enough to leave you. It's not enough that I think I know. I just got to.
Right.
It's like it takes a lot for you to let go and leave. Well, I'm not saying you, me. Like, I gotta, like what she said, I gotta know for sure, like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I got my proof and everything. But even then, even when you do have proof, you still contemplate. You're like, oh my God.
Let me wait until he do it one more time.
Right. That's horrible, though. Like, we can laugh about it, but that's really horrible. Like,
Yeah, because
It's because we adapted to a certain way of living, and if it don't hurt, it won't work.
Wow.
Gotta go through some things.
Yep.
Jesus.
And then too, like, even being vulnerable, it's like, I'm just now really learning how to, like, keep the ongoing process to make sure I stay in my feminine and vulnerable, like being my most vulnerable self, like just to be myself, like in the world, because it's like you have this protective layer over you, because it was you protecting you the whole time. So you growing up, just learning random way. Not I'm saying random, that was the wrong word. But you grow up learning how to protect yourself from the world. And that's what you hold on. It's like constantly in survivor mode. Yeah. 'Cause that was another thing that made me feel like I was still incarcerated too. Even though I wasn't able to put those words to the emotions back then, but now that I'm older, I can understand the level, like the mental capacity that I was in that space. And that was one of the biggest things as well. Like, like you said, I ain't trying to be all open like that, but then I can't receive nothing that I'm looking for. They got all these Disney princess shows, and you growing up seeing the prince come save her, and so you have this idea about what a relationship should look like, but it's a false idea, especially when you don't have like the physical presence of your father to guide you and show you, this is what it looks like to be loved. You don't settle for anything less than this. This is the standard. Right. And so,
That's a difficult. That's a hard pill to swallow. Because you still have some fathers that's in the home, but they not in the home. Yeah. They have a presence, but they don't have a presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and it's painful, to hear the things that you all talk about, man. I still be tripping on this, right? Because, the reality of it is that I really couldn't love you in the full capacity that you needed to be loved, because I really simply didn't have any love for myself. Well, I never learned how to love me. You know what I mean? And I never internalized that I had issues. It was just at 4 years old, the mask came up, now it's the exterior. And then as, a young boy, growing up in the hood, man, you don't get an opportunity, to really be human, to experience no emotions and feelings like that anyway. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, get them tears out your eyes. Go out there and fight, go out there and do this. So where you get an opportunity, you know, to really just, you know, to be human. Now you growing up, you got issues with your father, you know what I mean, the way he treats your mother, all you see is abuse. In the next relationship she in, that's even more abusive. You know, you're seeing your mother, you know, hearing your mother call you downstairs, you know, at 11, 12, or 1 o'clock in the morning, and you like 5, 6, 7 years old, and seeing this man on top of her beating her in the face. You know what I mean? Or, you know, he done pistol whipped her. You know what I mean? And seen him take his gun and hit her upside the head, and she had blood coming all out. And it was just crazy, you know, but that's what I witnessed, you know what I mean, as a child. And so it's like, man, I never wanted to do that to a woman. You know what I mean? I never wanted a woman to feel like that, you know, like she threatened around me in that capacity, you know what I mean? So it you know, even to this day, I still feel, you know, a little affected, you know, by, you know, the memories that I have, because I don't think I got all the memories out of my head. I think like a lot of that stuff I buried. But what do you do at 5 and 6 years old? You know what I mean? As a little boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, how do you rescue your mother? And I always felt helpless. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I always felt helpless, man. You know, so now, you know, now I'm big time on mask. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna let nobody see my true self. You know what I mean? I'm hiding. You know what I mean? I'm shucking and jiving and hiding. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking and moving, Joe. You hear me? Yeah, I'm that guy now. You know, and then, you know, when your mother and I got together and we, you know, started our family, I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue because I was just so used to being that player. You know what I mean? I'm so used to having multiple women. You know what I mean? I'm so used, you know what I mean? Yeah.
In the show.
Right. That's how you feel. Right. Yeah, it showed up. Right. That's how you feel about your father.
It's just the truth. I mean, because I know for me, knowing those things, I think I felt a lot of anger and frustration. And then I also felt misunderstood because of the way I'm displaying my anger and frustration. It's really misplaced because I don't have the person in my life that needs to feel that anger. So now I'm acting out and I'm showing out and I'm giving my mom a hard time, all because I'm misplacing my emotions and I don't even know how to name my emotions because I'm so young.
Wait, say that again.
Yes.
That part right there.
Misplacing your emotions because you don't understand them.
But you also said you didn't know how to name
Yes.
your, what do you call this? Well,
Right.
And I didn't know how to name it at all. I just know that I felt like can't nobody tell me what to do.
Right.
So that was, I didn't realize that until maybe even a couple of years ago.
Right.
How much anger I was really holding in from my childhood and the things that I felt like we went through that we didn't have to go through because of your absence. Like, I don't know if y'all do, but I often wonder what our life would have been like had you have been there and how things could have been different, or, you know, even just how I would be, how would my personality be different? How would I handle certain situations, certain people in my life? You know, I have this thing, it's hard for me to let go of people. I think that's a part of the way Mom raised us too. We are very forgiving. Because you were in prison, she never wanted us to feel anger towards you. She always wanted us to know, like, that's your dad and you gonna need him in your life. So hold on to this relationship. But she didn't explain to us that I get that you angry and you frustrated and you don't really know how to pour out your feelings. So I'm not sure if we ever had that specific conversation.
I don't think so.
But she did, we did talk a lot about your incarceration, and she did have us read books and I guess try to work through our feelings, but we never could name our feelings.
I don't think it ever like connected really.
Yeah, not until we got older at least. It makes sense now. And so for me in this program, my hopes is that parents give their children an opportunity to be raw and really explain how things affected them. And you don't have to have a bad life for an incarceration to really affect you. We didn't have a bad childhood. I mean, we were well taken care of. Our mother poured a lot into us, but we also had a big piece missing. And so, I just hope that we can open the door for people to start having that conversation with their children.
Yeah.
And learn how to, basically, you just got to take it for a second. And, of course, have boundaries because you don't want to be disrespected. However, your children is holding on to a lot of things. So you got to be open to just listening and receiving whatever they have to say, however they want to say it.
And sometimes your kid ain't gonna have no respect for you, and that's just the truth.
I didn't for
Whatever
a while.
Whatever you expected him to be like, don't.
You cannot come in with expectations.
Wow.
The only expectation is that we're going to have a better relationship afterwards.
And, you know, it's so interesting, and we need to also let the audience know that, you know, I have my oldest daughter. Her name is Marquila.
Yes.
We have 4 grandbabies. You know, I got all girls, y'all. First of all girls, and then my oldest daughter, you know, she got 2 sons, and but we just want to make sure that we shout her out. Marquila, we love you, baby.
Hey,
Yeah,
Queen.
Queen, we love you.
But you know what's so interesting is, Jamila, you know, when you talked about, you know, sitting back and take it, man, that's a hard grind, man. I ain't gonna tell nobody that that's easy.
It ain't. And I give it to them, too.
Yeah,
I'm
right. So Jamila, oh my God,
She's crazy.
she, you know, a lot of her personality has been so much like mine, and and she can be very, very aggressive when her mind is set on something, and is, you know, she can be very aggressive on it. You know what I mean? And Raquel used to be that way, you know what I mean, until she started having children.
No, she still is. You got to you just got to get her in that space. Don't mess with her.
So now this is a scenario though, right? Right. So
Yeah.
I taught. So I gave my girls the game. You know, like I'm a general contractor, and I taught my daughters. You know, painting. You know, they know how to paint, know how to put in cabinets, they know how to do drywall, floors, you name it, they can do it. Electrical. As a matter of fact, Jamila, you taught Raquel how to do electrical, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, it's phenomenal that I get opportunity, man, you know, to work with my daughters. My oldest daughter's on maternity leave, and she's just now coming back into the fold. And my youngest daughter, she's in college, pursuing her master's degree, 1 more year, and then you'll be what?
I'll be done.
No, you'll be done, but what would be your title? You have all them letters behind you.
Oh yeah, I'll be a licensed counselor. I'm sorry, I can get my LPC, a licensed professional counselor. Yes.
And what's your degree going to be in?
Clinical mental health counseling.
Right. So you're going to have to help me and Jamila get through our situations.
I don't need no help. I can voice it.
But, you know, so, you know, we were at a job site.
I don't know it.
And, no, we got to talk about this part, man, because, you know, this is because based on the things that she said, I think that is, you know, that is necessary. You know what I'm saying? I think that is real necessary because incarcerated parents got to understand how it can come across to you. You know what I mean? And when she was talking about I didn't want to take that part. Right. So her and I got into it because she had whatever her night was like, you know, the night before, she thought that the morning thereof would be a great opportunity for her to share with me how she really felt. And we got into it. And there was some yelling and screaming. And I was like, you need to get out of my car. Get out. She's like, no, I ain't getting out. I'm your daughter. I said, well, you ain't going to talk to me like that. We just went back and forth. We kind of want to jump in at any time now. But we was going back and forth. And my oldest daughter, Raquel, she was in the car. And she was looking so despondent, like, oh my God, what do I do? You know, whose side do I jump on? When we was at Home Depot, man. Yeah. We had got into it at Home Depot. You know what I mean? And man, it was deep.
It was a lie. I'm crying. You trying to kick me out the car? You can't kick me out. I'm your daughter.
That was the first time I had ever, because Jamila, she'd go. She like, whatever, bye, I'm done. She was like, I'm not getting out. Nope.
Wow.
Because I felt like, I guess I felt like in that moment, if I leave now, ain't no guarantee that I will ever talk to you again.
Right.
And that's not what I wanted either, but I also know me.
Right.
And I'm very headstrong. So if that's what I would have made my choice, that would have been my choice, at least for another month or two. I don't know. But I felt like you didn't understand what you were saying, too. So a part of me was giving you the benefit of the doubt because I was being disrespectful in a way to me.
I wasn't in the way. It was the way. Right. There was no in the way. Right.
However, I also understood where you was coming from too. So I'm like, no, I ain't gonna get out.
Right.
But I ain't gonna talk to you right now either. Because I wanted you to understand certain things like that hurt. You don't push, it was just more so like, don't push me out like that. Don't shut me out just because I'm reacting in a way that you don't approve of.
That's powerful.
Yeah, don't push me
That
into
makes
the
me
edge.
emotional right now. Just hear what you just said. Don't push me away because I'm, emotional about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish
And
that.
then, just listen for a second. And if you need to take a break to cool down, we didn't talk the whole rest of the ride back to the job. And I stayed in the car trying to figure out how I was about to get home because I don't feel like doing this no more. But he eventually came back out, and we apologized to each other for the way we spoke to each other.
Right.
And then you explained how you felt, and I explained how I felt. We didn't necessarily agree, but that's just what it was. And you accepted me back, I guess. And so that made me feel like, okay, I guess I could be more open with him. I guess I can really show him how I feel and not be afraid of rejection. So.
Wow. And we cried together.
Yeah.
Gail came out.
Right, she came out.
Came out to the car.
Is the coast clear?
I think it's very, very powerful for like having having a situation like that with a parent, and then your parent is the one to initiate the comeback. That bring a lot of security to the child. I think that was like had it been the other way around, I think the dynamics would have been a little different if she would have initiated the comeback. But it was like you initiating that. Not only did you establish like the safety, like she said, it's like I can open up to him more
because you acknowledged me,
right? But it's like not. But you also know that he right here, that he here. Like we can get and we can have these moments, and I know you still here, and that's a big thing, at least for me. Like knowing that people can get up and walk away or just leave you, and then that's just.
Wow.
Yeah, we got some abandonment issues, man.
Yeah.
I know for sure I do, because I don't be wanting to let go. Like, don't go. You can't go. Like, I be losing my mind. I'm serious. That's really real, though, and I don't like that
What did
about
Aaliyah say to one? She said, well, because I'm not leaving.
Yeah. God gonna have to do something else.
No, for real, but I don't like that about myself, though. Like, I was just talking to my therapist about this because it really bothers me. It makes me feel like I don't have the self-love that I'm wanting and, no boundaries, because it shouldn't take all of this for me to leave. Like, I need to have, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I don't have enough self-worth or something. Like, because why do I need things to get really bad for me to leave? Or for me to be able to let go, like I really don't like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the red flags be there, but I just be like, I'm not leaving. This is all I know. This is what I know, and I don't want to, no. And then I'd be so afraid for them to leave me too. Like, I'd be so, I've really gone through changes in my life where I was just sacrificing myself, sacrificing my feelings for, the people in my life, because I don't want to feel like, because I don't want them to leave. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to act this certain way so you can want to stay. You know what I mean? Like begging people to stay. I don't like that, though. I really don't. And it really gets under my skin. So I'm really trying to figure out, what is it that I need within myself so that when nothing is when the situation is not good for me anymore, then I can just walk away and be okay with that. You know what I mean? So like, what do I need to do? Like, I don't know, man, but like,
Right.
it just pisses me off. It's like, just thinking about it now, I'm getting a little frustrated because I'm so serious because this is a huge problem. Like, this has been a problem for me all my life. Like, friendships, relationships. Like, I just find myself always trying to please, you know, and doing certain things for people just so so they won't leave. You know, I mean, maybe that's come from you. Probably did.
I think it did.
And it's just something that I'm just not realizing though. You know, so it's like, even, you know, you continue to learn, you know, different things as you're continuing to grow or whatever, and different things come up and you have these like realizations, and it's like, dang, you know, I messed up in this way too, like, and this is stemming from this, and it's like, dang, like, you know, so it's like a constant like connecting the dots, you know what I mean, of why you are the way that you are. So
Wow.
Yeah,
that abandonment is serious.
Yeah, and I think it was because of Dad's lack of consistency. Because there are I don't know if y'all remember, if y'all have y'all moments, but I remember twice, 2 birthday parties. You told me you was gonna come and you never showed up. One of them you started there, then you said you had to go and you'd be back, and you never came back. And not just never came back for the night, didn't come back for a week or something. Like,
Right.
So I think that lack of consistency showed us from early on that people will go. And then it make you feel unwanted and unloved. And so it's like you were saying, you have a hard time letting go because you want to hold on. I think it's still that little girl and you like, I want to hold on. I don't want you to go. Like, and so that's why I do think it's very important to have a father in your life showing you that from the beginning, because you had a long history of not seeing it.
Yeah. And it's like, Mom, you know what I'm saying? She instilled a lot in us, like, as far as like, you know, trying to teach us self-worth, self-love, and all of those things. But and a lot of those things did stick with us. You know, we realized that, you know, as we got older. But it's just not the same.
It's
You know
not
what I mean?
enough.
Yeah, you need more. Like, you need this other side as well. You know what I mean? So it can be a balance.
So do you still feel like, I know you want to say something, Kiara, but do you still feel like you're incarcerated?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. The more I think about it, like, I'm actually having this realization right now.
In the moment.
In the moment, yes. And it's like, yeah, I am. And it's really unfortunate, you know, because I don't want to be in this position, you know, and I'm just constantly looking for answers. Like, I know my therapist, he can't give me answers. He is there to, you know, like, help guide me and support me find my own answers. But it's really frustrating because it's like, just tell me what I need to do. Like, you know, just give me the steps. He's like, there aren't any steps. You got.
Well, you are doing the first step. The first step is acknowledging that there is some kind of disconnect within you, and you want to figure it out. That is the first step.
Yeah. So, you know, he did say that, and, you know, we've been working on things, you know, finding self, you know, and being okay with who I am right now was the first thing that he said that I have to do. You know, you gotta start being okay with who you are right now.
That's important.
It really is, and I'm not. You know, I'm not. You know, oh man, you know, I don't know if I've ever really experienced like happiness, like longevity happiness. You know what I mean? Like, I have happiness in the moments, right? But like overall, like my mood and everything. No, and that really bothers me too. Like, I don't even know what that would look like.
Wow.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. And I was just talking to my therapist about that the other day too. It's like, how do you even get happy? What is, you know, like, what do I have to do to actually feel that in myself? You know?
It's in you.
I know, right? But like, how do I get to it? You know?
I think the biggest thing is what you said, accepting yourself, flaws and all. Like, right here today, this is me. This just what it is.
It's just like, how do I get to that point? You know,
you gotta say it. I know that's the biggest things.
Allowing
Saying
yourself
stuff,
to just be.
Yep, and saying stuff out loud, like, you know what, Aaliyah, you did that, but that's okay. It's okay. I still love you.
Right. It's just so interesting because I come from a point of view where I don't do that for myself because I'm constantly like trying to please other people. So I don't know how to like just accept myself, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I got a master's degree in counseling as well. And I mean, I could travel the world. I've been to Africa, all over the place, and preaching, teaching, and doing all this consultation in different youth programs, right? But I was damaged goods. I could tell people how to, get their lives together and do X, Y, Z, but I wasn't living it. You know what I mean? I still had addiction. So you talked about the issue, me, leaving, for the birthday party and then never come back. I was on drugs. You know what I mean? That was my love. I loved the drugs. You know what I mean? I love drugs more than, and that, and it was a huge dynamic in the family breakdown. You know what I'm saying? And, but I just want to call to something that you talked about. I think that, those particular issues, so it didn't dawn on me until right now as you began to talk that those moments that you and I have, unfortunately, at the casino, I'm spending up all of my money. But it didn't dawn on me to then, that we would walk through the casino and you would just put your arm in my arm and lock arms with me and just walk and just talk with me. And it just dawned on me that that's what you needed. You know what I mean? You needed. No, I'm serious. No,
he always used to make fun of me. She's gonna come in the casino. You always talking. Like, dang.
Yeah, but that's what she needed. No, I just see it now because every time we would show up there, but I realized that she would say to me, "Dad, I'm so glad I came. Dad, this is just us, you and I." Because she don't want nobody else to do it.
That's not true.
Look at it.
That's not true.
Dad, are you going to the casino?
I think it's both of y'all.
It's not me. I saw you. Like, what? I don't understand.
Look at her trying to take up for herself.
But no, the reality of it is that it's in those moments because, the quality and the quantity of time that I was giving both you, Raquel, and Jamila is because we work together. But she's always in school doing other things, and so she don't have that part.
Yeah.
So that was her time and opportunity to be able to link up with my dad. Excuse my language, I'm a damn sure spend his money. And lose it all. But I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back after I done saved $50 out of it.
Right.
I ain't got no money. But no, for real though. But really though, man, it was just, but it be in those moments, where it would be just you and I. You know what I mean? And it just dawned on me that's what she needed because you would always come back and say, "Well, Dad, we just don't always have to do the casino. Let's go do this, that, and that type of thing."
I know. I always used to say that. And I actually had plans for us. It just never worked out because of schedule or whatever, but I don't got the money for it no more.
No, I'm making plans now because it just dawned on me based on what you said about your lack of self-worth and your lack of significance that you still need that part from me. And I need to make sure that I'm there. Let's bring tears.
You done touched my heart. I don't think I ever heard a man say, "I'm gonna make plans the way you just said it."
No, I need to do that because I was just telling Raquel, we need to have, father and daughter time. Yeah, we need to have that time. But Raquel's the type she want her sisters to be there all the freaking time. I don't care what kind of plans. Well,
I don't mind.
I called Jamila. I know. Because you want another coach.
Let's go spend daddy money.
Let's go spend daddy money. But it's so, as you begin to talk about that, it really hit me in the mouth, man. And it didn't dawn on me till as you just begin to speak that how much more of my time you need even at 25 years old. You know what I mean? So it don't matter how old you are. You know what I mean? And we still need to work to build relations. And I'm just so glad that you're just being so open and candid about, your feelings right now, because I wouldn't know that unless you share that. And so I think that's what's vital to this connection, and the program that we're doing right now is being able to have these conversations. So even if it don't come out on the onset, eventually as you get more comfortable, you'll begin to just share that part of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I honestly wasn't expecting me to say all of that. When Jamila was saying what she was saying, it just brought up a lot of things for me. And I'm just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of being in this space emotionally.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really exhausting. It just feels like you fix this thing within yourself. Well, not fix, but you get this together within yourself. Now it's another thing. Now it's another thing. It's just never ending. I get it because we're continuously evolving and growing, but it's like, dang, like
how many layers do I got?
Right.
You gotta get positive with peeling back your layers. You gotta get interested. That's what you gotta get. You gotta. I act like that. Why I do that? Or, you gotta start asking yourself them questions.
No, I do that. But the thing about it is, it gets overwhelming when there's a multitude of things that I'm doing that I'm realizing that I do, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta
pick one.
Yeah, it's just one.
Pick one.
At a time.
I still love you.
Right. Flaws and all.
But this is real nice right now. I just want to say that this took work. This relationship didn't just happen within a year. It took a couple years. It took a couple phone calls.
I've been out for
angry phone calls. Yeah, because you
phone
came back in my life around a couple years before I graduated high school. So a couple months before I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So he wasn't at my graduation. Didn't want him there. What else did I did not want you? I didn't want him at prom. I didn't want him around me.
I wanted him at prom.
He showed up.
He showed up. And
up.
that means something. Yeah. I didn't realize it was going to mean something, but it means something now, and I appreciate that. Because I do believe that's a moment that you should see, too, whether you was gone for a decade of my life or not. You deserve to see that, too, because I am your child. And as children, I think we do get a little selfish about certain things. But it's like, he a person, too, at the end of the day. You a person. Right. And certain moments you should be there for. And I'm pretty sure that most people do want their parents there. But it'd be so much anger and so much blockage that it'd be like, no, I'm good now. I'm 18. I'm good now. What I need you for?
Exactly.
And especially at 18, we think we so grown. So it's like, I don't need you. I'm good now. I'm about to leave, go to college.
Right.
What, you want to take care of my tuition? Because that's all I need.
Right. See,
I had to get out of my own way for this relationship.
Yeah. And looking back on it, I honestly feel bad, like
the way we did him.
Yeah, the way we did you, like not inviting you to our graduation.
You should feel bad about it.
The whole like
matter of fact, y'all should take me to breakfast.
I remember I had a play and he wanted to come to it, and I told him or whatever that he could come to it, but then when it came to the day of, I wasn't answering his phone calls. And now, looking back on that, I really feel bad, but he still came. So, like, that's the type of stuff that, like, as kids we need, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That persistency.
the consistency, being persistent. This man was definitely persistent. We had our hiccups though. I remember he sent a text message to us one day. Y'all remember the long paragraph?
Long
paragraph. Us out like,
know that.
I gotta take care of y'all. This is da-da-da.
Yes.
I was like, dang. And we supposed to be building our relationship. Well, so much for that because that set us back some years. Nah, but yeah, it's just certain things you're gonna go through though. Trying to build this relationship. It ain't
Stay
easy.
strong.
Yeah, we still go through things. Okay.
Yeah.
Stay consistent. Even if your children are grown, you are still the parent.
Yeah.
You gotta take the initiative. Unfortunately, and it's a lot of work because I know I got words that can hurt, and I use them. And I got a lot of hang-ups and a lot of text messages, but we was able to get past that. And now I'm at a place where I'm able to talk to you. Like even yesterday, I almost got upset, but I was like, it's not worth it for real. So, and I appreciate that I'm at a place where I can talk to you and we can have a disagreement, and 5 minutes later we go on to lunch or something.
Right.
And parents need to understand that that's what you want.
Right.
You know, don't have an argument and then don't call for weeks. No, still call.
Right.
Even if they don't answer, call, text, hey, just want you to know I'm thinking about you. Little things matter.
Yeah.
And eventually you going to break through.
Yeah.
That's important, though. I think that one of the things that, and if we had a list of things that were like vital, like blood in your veins, right? One of the things that parents, you know, whether your mother or father, need to understand is that stability is everything.
Yeah.
You can be persistent and consistent, but you have to have some stability with that, right? Like your children, like you all talking about, you know, man, we're gonna get into those further topics, you know, about abandonment and different things of that nature, right? But the children need to see that you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, push come to shove, that you there. You know, and that's important. Any questions, comments about that?
What?
Stability.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I pretty much just agree with what you said. That's knowing that. What? Oh, just like he said, knowing that they are there, like, and then too, sometimes like I don't necessarily even think I realized how strong our relationship got, or like how open I was becoming with him. It just it was just flowing. And it was just happening. And I think that's because of what you said, the stability, knowing that I have you in any situation, just like what they was talking about, you know, getting into it, having disagreements and things like that. Even at times being nervous about, am I going to say how I feel? Am I going to, like, expecting, like, some result, you know, or, like, not wanting to start an argument or deal with the confrontation. But it's like knowing that you're there and that we can have those moments and we still can work through stuff.
Yeah.
I think like you said, that it's very big. It's very big.
Yeah. The foundation has to be, you have to lay the foundation, you know what I mean, and then build upon it. You know, you know, and as men, you know, we become protectors. Like we don't want people to see our vulnerabilities. And I'm gonna tell every man this today, you know, peel off the mask, man. You know, get real with yourself. Real men cry. You know, it hurt me to my heart, man. I ain't no sucker by no stretch of the means, though, man. You know what I mean? But, you know, the incident that we were talking about, you know, my daughter and I had that interaction. I cried with my daughters. I cried. We sat in the car, all three of us just cried. It was that deep, that emotional, you know, because she touched my heart. And she need to see my vulnerability.
I was just about to say that we need to see that your emotional side.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's okay to be that way with your children. Who you are is who you represent out in the streets. You know, when you're around, you know, your dudes, your girls, or whoever, man. Okay, all that, you know, that you play that tough, you know, do that tough talk and all that tough stuff, you know, out there in the street. But when you get home, man, you gotta peel back the layers, Joe. You know what I mean? Because all that hardcore stuff ain't doing nothing but setting your child up to go back to the joint, go to the joint where you was. The worst thing I ever seen in the penitentiary was a grandfather, a father, an uncle, and cousins all in the same joint together. It's generational. At some point, it got to stop. But the sons and the grandsons were incarcerated long before because, you know, before they got there, because this is all they seen. This is the way of life, man. At some point, we got to stop that. You know, we got to cut the games, man, peel back the layers and be vulnerable and know that it's okay. And the only reason why you don't feel it like it's okay because you don't have no self-love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't loving yourself enough to know that it's okay to be vulnerable with your children, be vulnerable in these relationships. Tough up and be tough with your dudes. That's cool. Get out how you live. But when it comes down to your children, man, you got to, you know, man, my daughters melt my heart. You know, I may say no a gazillion times, but they know, you know, even behind that first no, we got him. Yeah, but you know, but they, you know, but we have just such a genuine relationship and a bond because I chose this, and spending time with your children, you know, breaking down the barriers and breaking down the walls, you know, is vital. It's important. It don't matter how old they are. It don't matter how old you are, man. It's something inside your child that they need to talk about. And I think what's interesting, and we'll talk about this in further topics, but we alluded to this, is how the pain carries over in adult life. You know, how those issues spill over.
Yeah.
And you be wondering, why am I, you talked about that, again, why am I acting like this? You know what I mean? Why don't I have the stability in these relationships? Why am I keep holding on? Raquel, you said that. Why do I need more pain? You know what I mean? To make me feel good about me. You know, those are topics and issues that we need to bring to the table because, you know, there are other individuals like you all that have been suffering and that are still suffering. Right. How do we get free? How do we break free? How do we begin to have these types of relationships that heal, that mend, you know, where, you know, we are learning how to, first and foremost, you know, love ourselves. You know what's interesting is that, you know, they asked Jesus a question, you know, in the Bible, they asked him a question, they asked Christ a question. They said, man, what's the greatest commandment of all? And Jesus said to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, your soul, and strength, right? But then he said this. He said, but the second one is as equal to the first one, which means that he put the second one on the same level as loving God, and that is that you will love your neighbor as you love yourself. He put that on the same level as loving God in terms of loving yourself. And so it's not possible for me to be able to love you in any capacity if I'm not loving me. I can't give you what I don't have.
Right.
For me, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. You know what I mean? I can't give you what I don't have, and what I'm giving you, and what I'm giving you is make believe. I done made that part up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That part is made up, so it ain't real. It ain't tangible. It's
Eventually, it die out. And you don't got nothing left.
Right.
It's over with, man.
You know, and I'm glad you said two things. But I'm glad you said that you made a choice. Because that is the very first step. You got to make the choice. The parent and the child got to decide, okay, let's give it a try. Let's see where it goes. But you got to be open to it. Like, it's a choice. It is a choice. Right. Y'all don't have to do this. Be broken if you want to. But
right.
But it is ultimately a choice, and it's a serious choice, and it will take some thought. Like some relationships, people don't feel like it's worth mending, and which is fine. But you're gonna have unhealed trauma, and if that's how you want to live your life, right, and pass it down, that's on you. But we trying to break generational curses. We trying to get people out of. We trying to get people in the mindset of healing, of being whole. That's how you love yourself. You learn how to let go of your past traumas and forgive people, so that you can be free.
Yes,
right.
Free. Freedom. That's what I'm looking for.
Because forgiveness is never about the other individual. The forgiveness is about you and you learning how to let go. You know, it's somebody else's choice whether or not they want to forgive you. You know what I mean? We try to put people in a box. You know what I mean? I need you to forgive. No, you take away their choice whether or not they want to.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And that's one of the things I had to be careful on. I had to learn that in the joint. You know what I mean? And, you know, one of the instructors was telling me, no, you don't ask, no. If they decide they want to forgive you, then let that be it. Hey, we about to come to a close, man. This has been so wonderful, man. You know what I mean? This has just been beautiful. This is Dad. We are incarcerated too. It's a conversation with a father and his daughters about real issues, real life, real situations, and real love. All right?
Yes.
Yo, Raquel, say something.
I just want to wish you all the best in your journey. As we move forward, we are open to having discussions, and we'll have more topics to come.
Yeah, so thanks so much, you know,
Yes.
for tuning in. This was wonderful.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm happy to be here and share our experience and our journey. And I hope that it gave y'all some insight on how to build relationships with your loved ones.
And it's not about perfection, guys.
Right. Peace and blessings. One love, one God, one life.
I knew you was going to say